Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer and this is part 3 on how to draw the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. And before we're gonna start this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss a single video. Alright. So let's refine everything just a little bit. So I think that it's best to make this a lot cleaner, make this look a lot cleaner by putting the shadow in properly. Especially in his hand. Like this, and then the highlight will be there. And maybe making the shadow look a lot darker over here as well, and over here as well, just to give it a little bit of a better look, so that it looks a little bit cleaner. Alright, so let's see what we were about to do. So yeah, let's get into more detail into his cell. So basically, now what we have to do is create something like this, but we can make it just a little bit darker. And then just skip one like this and go to the next one. And just make sure you do this through the whole length of his cell. And the shape kind of differs throughout his whole cell. Alright, and now if you did that to every single area, if you made the shapes look like this, what you want to do now is actually, I have to make it a little bit darker everywhere. Alright, so what you're gonna do now is start from over here and make the same kind of shape, but let it go like this. Make kind of a pattern going like this. Then get a little bit of space between them and start with the other one. And they're not all shaped exactly the same. Some of them are shaped differently. But because I think that I made it a little mistake over here, I have to erase just a little area of it and make this one a little bit bigger. Something like that. And I can go back later and make it a little better. So now what I'm gonna do is get a tone for the upper area of this sail. Very dark. It's supposed to be very dark red. Do this throughout the whole sail. Alright, and now you can make this a little bit thicker. Don't make it necessarily darker, just a little bit thicker. It's just about the little bit of a pattern, and I already messed it up because I did the whole sail wrong, so that's why it might look a little bit off in my version. But what you can do is erase this and do it a little differently. What you could do is instead of them looking like that, you could just make them look like this. Because this also works. I use these shapes in one of my other Spinosaurus drawings, and it turned out to look pretty okay in my opinion. And now I'm just going to try and make it a little bit messy so you won't really necessarily see too much of the failed sail. I guess this would be about okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but you get the idea. Alright, now I can draw a couple darker lines over here to make this more detailed. And it's time to move back a little to go into his feet and legs. So I'm gonna start with the knee area. We can start with drawing the knee and then just go around it with a couple lines and make sure they are always curved. Because if you don't get the curve into the drawing, I mean into your rounded shape, three-dimensional object, it will always leave a very, it won't look natural. Let's keep it at that. It will always kind of look fabricated. And let's see if the camera is actually focused right, because some of the detail the camera won't really catch some of the detail, which is actually a shame. Alright, so there is a little bit of shadow over here going into his knee area. This actually really reminds me of the rodent drawing that I did. I mean the scales and everything. The way that I did the scales on that tutorial look quite similar to the way that I'm doing it on this one. I mean, they aren't really scales too much, it's just a couple of lines that make it look like there are scales. Like what I'm doing now, it's not like they are really too detailed scales. There is, by the way, supposed to be a lot more shadow over here. And I'm supposed to erase this line between the toes, because we don't really need it anymore. Might as well just erase it. Alright, now to his other leg over there, quite a little bit more in the distance. Just darkening the shadow over here a little bit more, because still just a little bit too light. Okay, so yeah, it's really starting to get along quite well, quite nicely. And I can, by the way, always erase the whole cell and do it over, and that's what I think that I'll be doing. So yeah, I'm just gonna erase the whole cell and do it all over again, because I want it to look a bit better. I really don't like the design that I put in there. It's just too messy. So I'm just erasing everything. Like this. And let's get my reference again to get it right a little bit better. So it starts over here like this, and it goes like this. So I just have to make sure that there's a little bit more distance between them. And how the farther I progress, the less distance there will be. So now, in between every bump, we're gonna draw a bit of shadow. And let's see how far. Right, so it's supposed to get down about this far. So now we can kind of attach all the shadowed areas to each other. And I'm just skipping that one. Because I don't want to get the same result as I got the first time trying this. Alright, this looks a whole lot better. And now we can put some in like this. Alright, so this is already looking a lot better. I mean, the whole experience of the pattern is changed quite drastically. Alright, and now we can actually make the shadow look a little darker on top. And it's actually skipping a couple of them, apparently, which I didn't notice at first, but now I do. Alright, and now we can darken the top of it. Like this. Which actually does look quite nice. Alright, and that's my dog on the background scratching himself. That's probably what you guys are hearing right now. So there is a little bit of a highlight over here that we're gonna keep, at least try to keep, making this pattern a little darker as we go along. Just try and do this with a circular motion. So that it kind of still looks natural. Alright, so this pattern looks a lot better than what it was before. And there's gonna be a lot of shadow over here, just behind his hind leg, but it quickly fades. He does have a couple of lines going like this, and he does also have one over here, kind of fades. something that looks like this. And then this line will be a lot darker as well. And make sure you just get the pattern in correctly, the skin pattern. And you can make these lines go on for a little bit longer. Kind of go into his tail a little bit more until they fade away. And it's not really too important to what way you draw most of these lines. It's just as long as you keep the curve into it in the lines, I think it will still be fine. It will still look kind of fine. So yeah, I did erase quite a lot in this tutorial, for what I'm gonna apologize right now, because if you were doing a draw along, then I'm really sorry that you had to erase this drawing for so many times. I didn't intend for it to happen, but yeah, I'm trying something quite difficult to draw for my level at least, and I can manage to do it. But if I'm doing a tutorial at the same time and I have to draw at the same time, I have to do two times, two things at the same time, which I'm not too good at, to be honest. A lot of my friends probably know me as the person that can't do two things at the same time. So yeah, that's probably why it didn't look right, and I had to erase a lot of the time. So right now I'm just adding a little bit extra detail, just some darker spots and scales. Alright, so now the only thing left to do for this tutorial is actually getting the pattern in his head, which is not going to be too difficult, and also a little bit of shadow into his jaws and stuff. So it's gonna be a little bit of shadow over here going into his jaw, following it all the way till over there. And then we have a pattern that goes like this. And that will be kept white. And the rest of it will be colored in, well, not colored in, but will have a certain tone. Like so. And do make sure you do darken that line for his jaw and also darken this area. Alright, and now for his upper jaw, there's a line that goes like this. And then it goes like this. And then we have an area like this, just behind his nostril. And then it goes like this. And everything else will have the same certain kind of tone. Alright. And then I'm gonna erase this just a little bit to make it look a little bit more organic. And maybe get a little bit of skin texturing in here as well. A couple of those lines in his upper jaw. Like this, and maybe it's a little bit too dark over here, so just going over it with your eraser, it might even give it a bit of a nice looking effect. Alright, so that's this drawing about done. So I'm just going over it again with an eraser to erase all the unnecessary lines. So I'll be back. Okay, so I am back. And now I'm just gonna put a little bit of a tone into this area, because this area is supposed to be a little bit darker than the surrounding areas. Like on top of his sail. So over here as well, darken it in quite a bit to get it to give it the right look. It's supposed to be darker than this area and this area. And on top of his head as well, over there. So yeah, I guess that would make us about done with this drawing. So I'm just gonna put my autograph the name of the dinosaur, and the year. Okay, so I think the drawing turned out quite nice. I'm pretty happy with the way that it looks, and yeah, so let me know in the comments below what you think about the video. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss a single video. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.